So much pain! So much pain!
I didn't do fucking shit!
What have I done?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and for all of our beautiful, wonderful, supportive subscribers, our Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to our NFC Championship game reaction and breakdown episode. Only here on the Ballin In Burgundy podcast. Yeah, myself and Andrew. That happened, dude.
You sound very disappointed.
It was a game for about the first quarter. And then our defense decided to unplug their controller, throw it out the window, and set their house ablaze. We have a lot to get into, especially with someone making a Pro Bowl tonight. So that is a good thing. Before we get into that, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe here on Ballin In Burgundy podcast. Road to 500 subscribers is still going. We are at 450 subscribers, which is great. We are 50 away. Now, 90% of you who watch our videos are not subscribed, which does not help us here at BIB. So if you can, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that post notification bell every time that we upload. Instagram and TikTok at Ballin In Burgundy podcast, Twitter at BIB podcast 22 because Twitter hates long usernames. But let's get into this. D5 to 23. The Philadelphia Eagles decide to treat us like Jeffrey Dahmer patients and kill us even though we're already dead.
It was ugly. I would still argue that we weren't out of it until probably about 8 minutes left in the game in the fourth quarter. We were hanging on to 11 points difference, sort of going back and forth. But at the end of the day, what killed us was the turnovers, the fumbles. We had 3 of those. Each time was, I would argue, a very critical drive each time that we fumbled it. The first time, I think we were driving to either tie it or go up by 3 if we got a touchdown. It was like 10-3.
I'll pull it up.
Then the second time, I believe it was also still really close at that time. And then the third fumble was when we were trying to go score to make it a 1-score game. Well, it was a 2-score game.
Yep.
That's what killed us.
Yeah, the first fumble in the first quarter, it was 7-3 Philly.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can find it. And then, yeah, Dialma gets the ball punched out. Blankenship recovers. They go down, score a touchdown. Second one is on the kickoff. Jerry McNichols to the 22, and Will Shipley.
14-3.
The first one turned into 14-3. The second one was 20-12.
Mm-hmm.
Shipley forces the fumble and recovered by Gainwell. They go on to make it 27-12. And in the third quarter, where it's currently 34-23, so an 11-point game, we go down, past Austin Eckler, runs into Owen Burks, fumbles, Philly recovers, goes down, scores another touchdown, and at that point it was 41-23, and we turn over it on downs, they get a touchdown, Jayden throws the pick in the end zone, they get a touchdown, turnover on downs, and then they nail it out. And by then it was 55-23. It was 27-15 at halftime. So I'm thinking, okay, 12-point game. You know, same thing happened to Detroit, but we can do this. Those 21 points off of turnovers alone.
That third one is the one that really killed us. If we didn't end up fumbling that, and if we went down and scored a touchdown, it would have been a 3-point game. I can't remember exactly how far into the game that was, but it was decently far into the game.
It was enough.
Yeah, where we would have been right in it if we didn't have that happen.
It would have. I mean, the opening 2 plays of this game is we go down a nice, lengthy 18-play drive to get the field, including 2 fourth-down conversions. So we're like, all right, 3-0, that's going to set the tone. Eagles, we kick off. Eagles get it about the 37, 38. They called it like the 40, which I was like, all right, it's a pile, whatnot. Halfback pitch to Saquon, takes it for 60. And that's when I should have known things were going to go awry. Because
First play.
not only did Saquon score 1 touchdown, not only did he score 2 touchdowns, he had a hat trick of 3 rushing touchdowns by himself. But that they weren't done, because they could have. Let's be honest. I had a field goal to his 3 touchdowns. They would have won the game by 24 points. But they weren't done. Jaylen not only runs it for not 1, but 2, but 3 touchdowns by himself. Will Shipley, that Clemson Tiger, at the end of the game, runs in to make it 55. Jaylen, halfway through the game, throws one to AJ. 8 total touchdowns, including 7 on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Most teams can't score 7 in 2 games.
If I remember correctly, this was the highest scoring conference championship game ever.
Ever. The last
Embarrassing.
one the last 5 conference championship games. Number 5 was the 14-15 Patriots against the Colts at 45. The 84-85 Dolphins against the Steelers at 45. The 15-16 Panthers against Arizona at 49. The 90-91 Bills against the Raiders. And now the 24-25 Eagles at 55 points. And they tied a rushing record. 7 rushing touchdowns. Tied most all-time in a postseason game. Tying the 1940 Chicago Bears in the NFL Championship against... Let me pull up my camera. Against Washington.
Oh. Crazy.
Defense was nowhere to be found. What did we say last episode? What did Reedy and Z and I say on the live stream 2 days ago? I think it was on Saturday afternoon. What did we say we had to do? Limit Saquon Barkley. Did we do it? Oh,
nope.
No. Saquon went for 15 carries, 118 yards, 3 touchdowns, averaging 7.9 yards a carry. Will Shipley, on that final drive pretty much, 4 carries, 77 yards, and a touchdown with a 57-long-yard rush, averaging 19.3 yards a carry. And they only had 5 pass catchers the entire game. AJ, Dallas, Devonta, Kenneth Gainwell, and Saquon Barkley. Jaylen only threw 20 of 28 for 246 and a touchdown.
I'm tired of him being carried to the Super Bowl. He's not a top 5 quarterback. Jayden is a better quarterback than him. He just had a better squad around him.
Jayden might be the best quarterback in the NFC.
I don't like the word might there. I think he is.
Fair enough.
He beat Jared Goff in the divisional.
He beat Baker in the wild card.
That tells. Beat Baker. Didn't beat Jaylen, but outperformed him.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire season.
I mean, Jayden, but here's the thing, this wasn't Jayden's fault at all.
Mm-mm.
And
Nope.
before someone says, he threw an interception on the second to last drive when we were going down to score a field goal, maybe the way we were playing.
It was over
in the end
at that
zone.
point.
It was
He
over.
was just, yeah.
Jayden went 29 of 48 for 255, a touchdown and that pick, whatever, and took 3 sacks. You want to know what the play of the game for us was?
What's that?
Tress
Oh,
Way
yeah.
on a 24-yard strike on a fake field goal to Ben Sinnott as he was like falling through the air to get us to midfield. That if that wasn't play of the game for us,
That caught me by surprise because we were at our own 40 about, right?
we
It
were
was
at
like
on like
fourth and six,
around like 25, my friend.
25. Oh my
We
goodness.
weren't doing much on that play.
That is the most DQ type of play call I've
Mm-hmm.
ever heard of. I've never seen Tress throw a pass like
Never.
that. So,
It was 4th and 6 at the Washington 31. Tressway with a pass deep to Ben Sinnott to the Philly 46 for 23 yards. I call it midfield because by the time you get within the 5 of everything, you're pretty much at midfield. Whatever, guys.
and it was a dot. It was a
It was good.
lofty, perfect pass.
It was good. I'm gonna have the clip going as we're talking about it. I gotta find it first. It's somewhere in my Twitter bookmarks. Why? I saw the keep seeing the memes. Tressway has more passing yards than Dak Prescott in the NFC Championship game.
Mhm, mhm.
Hilarious. Um, but this truly, like, you can blame offense for all you want. And granted, so you had 2 fumbles on special teams and a fumble, or 2 fumbles on offense and fumble on special teams. Defense, I couldn't find Jonathan Allen except for that one sack. I couldn't find Luvu except when he was diving over, goal lines like Jeff Hardy. I couldn't find B-Wags. I couldn't find Saint Lattimore getting bullied again, which we'll get into him in a second. I get this was the 18th ranked scoring defense, the 30th ranked pass defense, a top, I think, 8 pass defense, and you couldn't tell.
Nope.
This offseason is going to be telling for this because offense just needs a few pieces. You need a guard, you need a tackle because Cosme's out for the rest of the season. He's probably won't be back until at least October. He definitely won't be back for training camp. So you need a guard. You need a tackle because I think they might move Coleman to the inside for his
You need a
size.
receiver,
You need a receiver,
arguably a running
running
back.
back. So you need a few pieces. Defense might go through another overhaul.
Mhm,
And we'll get into free
pretty
agents
much.
and we'll go over the free agents and Bobby's Pro Bowl in a second. I want to talk to MARSHON Lattimore. This trade we made, and I get the tweet. I forget who sent it out, and I think I think we retweeted it, or I retweeted it because I think I run our Twitter. Um, I get it. He's never been 100% healthy this season, coming off some problems, not fully mentally locked in on the team, still knowing the teammates. I get that. He was fine against the Saints, okay against the Bucks, fine against the
Not
Lions.
he wasn't good against the Bucks.
What did I say? Okay, yeah, he was meh
Yeah.
against the Bucks. What about AJ Brown makes you go for DPI after DPI after DPI, and then granted this should have gone against AJ, but to
Hmm.
get the unnecessary roughness to take the helmet off of AJ, although AJ did it first, and I'm gonna go on a rant about these refs here in about 5 minutes if I have time for it. We need to give him the I think I tweeted this too. We got to give him the off season to get right and everything. But there's a small argument that we should not have made this trade.
The way he's playing right now, he's not worth what we gave up. I
We give him a
mean, he's had
third
a
pick.
few decent games, but he's also been torched for quite a
In the
few
big
of the games he
in the
has
big
played
moments too.
in the big important moments.
Yep.
Yeah, the wild card round, divisional, he held his ground, but then NFC Championship
Couldn't
against
be
AJ
found.
Brown, talent on talent could not be found.
I I I don't know what it is. I don't know how it happens. Um, I think it's time for me to get into the toxicity real quick. These NFL referees you have heard me whine, moan, and complain about this the past 2 years we've been doing this. These wild zebras running around in the NFL wild. I did not know that there was a rule where if the opposing defensive line kept encroaching and moving past the ball, that they could award a team a score.
I don't think anyone knew that was the rule.
If you can't even do this in Madden, they will boot you from the game. Frankie Louvu on 2 consecutive second and goals went over top of Jaylen and over top of the offensive line. And mind you, the offensive line is offside by themselves the way they're lined up. The center's head is if this microphone is a line of scrimmage, his head's over here. I do not understand how every single big game ref ball. Did it impact the outcome of the game? Not really, because we were losing already. But you take another between turnovers and ref ball, they scored 28 points. But you
Yep.
didn't lose to the referees. I guarantee you, if this had happened to the complaining teams, they would have been on Twitter moaning with me. Pause. Never in my wildest dreams would I, especially, and there was an argument saying what ref is worse, college football referees and NFL referees. It's been the NFL for the past 6 years. No one
Yep.
really knew they were that bad because there's always been good games. The Rams Saints NFC Championship game where I think Bradley Coleman doesn't get the DPI on the early hit in that game. You remember what I'm talking about?
hmm hmm
Yeah. In my estimation, because that's as of right now, just based on my headspace, as early as I can remember, that is truly the downfall of these referees.
I can see that. Yeah.
But you're blaming referees. The referees don't have the outcome. Then how come every single time we turn on a Chiefs game, and especially in the fourth quarter, we are waiting for the yellow flag to pop up?
Especially, I mean, regular season is one thing,
It's one
right?
thing.
But when you're in the conference championship, that's a big deal. And to have referees influence the outcome of very important plays, which influence the outcome of those drives, which ultimately influence the outcome of the games,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal. And there needs to be more accountability. I want to point out why there isn't more replay technology being used
Mm-hmm.
to really look into what the right call was. Because I mean, this is different game, but the Chiefs Bills game when Allen was trying to scoot the ball across on 4th and 1, and they reviewed it.
Yeah.
Looks like he crossed the line, but they said he didn't. I can understand there not being like enough evidence to turn it over,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't understand why they have better technology at this day and age when other sports do to have a
Yeah.
definitive answer and avoid this controversy that's happening right now.
Because it just keeps happening. I'm gonna obviously play the clip as we talk about this, but I looked it up. Rule 11, Article 2, Rule 11, Section 2, Article 1.5 of the NFL Rulebook, which states a touchdown can be scored when, and I quote, the referee awards a touchdown to a team that has been denied one by a palpably unfair act. Rule 3, 21.3, Article 1, a penalty is imposed on a team that has committed foul and may result in loss of down, yardage, automatic first down, charge, blah, 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 blah. Why? Because we had an encroachment, an unnecessary roughness, and something else. Is that why you're giving them that?
It doesn't make sense
Um,
to me.
it doesn't make sense, and because it was second and goal, And then so second to go, Jonathan Allen encroaches. So you replay the down because he can't go any further than the goal line. Frankie Louvu goes up top. You replay the down. Frankie Louvu goes up again. Frankie Louvu's a madman. So
That's
on
so
the
funny to
third,
watch.
so on the third or fourth second and goal, they push it in. If we had stopped, I get it's penalties, blah blah blah. But if we had stopped them 4 times, then we'd be sitting here saying we know how to stop the tush push. Instead of there are Twitter accounts just for NFL announcers or NFL referees saying never in my life have I seen a rule like this. Because the ref on the field, on the announcement saying there is a possibility we will award Philly this touchdown.
Yeah, that's weird.
It doesn't. Oh, I'm gonna stay quiet.
And
I don't.
there was a number of other things that the
Yes,
refs called or did not call
didn't call.
that called for a lot of controversy. One being that holding on
Mm-hmm.
4th and 6 when the Eagles had that bomb throw to AJ
Yep.
when Frankie got totally just wrapped up and held back from sacking
Uh-huh.
Hurts. That would have been huge. Then there
First
was a
one.
time where I believe it was Mikey who hit the guy out of bounds.
Mm-hmm.
But it was as I believe it was Saquon, like lowered his shoulder to prepare for impact with him
To go
and
out
then
of
stepped
bounds.
1 foot
Foot.
out of
Yeah.
bounds. And Mikey didn't even hit him. He just sort of held his ground
Yep.
and then Saquon flopped it, went flying. It wasn't a hit, it was a collision. But
Mm-hmm.
in such an important moment like that, because what down was it there?
I think it was a fourth down, honestly.
Yeah, it was third or fourth. It was like super important. And then they gave him first down and 15 yards. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that that should have been called in that moment.
No. And how about Jalen Carter slapping Tyler Beadash on one play and then poking his eye out on another? They
Hmm.
didn't call the slap. They only called encroachment on the eye, on the poke of the eye. In
Yep,
what
I remember that.
world do you poke a player's eye out and that's only 5 yards?
There was also a very clear time that was shown on the replay when I don't know who, but one of the Eagles defensive linemen grabbed Jaden's face mask while he was
Mask
sacking him.
and didn't call it.
Did not get called. Nope.
Yep.
Yeah,
It.
so bad.
I have nothing to nothing to say about that because I Bobby Wagner. I'm just gonna segue into this. Bobby Wagner, because the Eagles and America, the Bills and the Commanders failed you. We are sorry. We apologize.
Straight from the heart.
Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl round 2,
Second time
three.
in 3 years.
It's the three-peat versus Philly fans.
Who are you rooting for, John? Honestly, or are you even watching?
I'm gonna watch. It's a Super Bowl. There's nothing else better to do on February 9th, honestly, besides go to church that morning and pray they both can lose. Um, if I honestly had to choose between Eagles or Chiefs, as much as I want Saquon to get a Super Bowl, because I eventually think I think he will at this rate, the way the Eagles are gonna keep playing.
Hmm.
Um, I've got to go with the three-peat. I've got to go Casey.
Me too.
Historic
And it
three-peat,
hurts.
and it hurts, but I want the three-peat. And this is really for more for some of the players like DeAndre Hopkins getting his, um, Kareem Hunt getting his. I mean, Pat's gonna get. I think this is Pat's fourth or fifth. No, third or fourth
Yeah.
Super Bowl. But it would be historic. It'd be the first time there was ever a back to back Super Bowl champion. What do you
As
root for?
much as I hate, as much as I hate the Chiefs, I mean, it would be kind of special to be able to say you witnessed history in a three-peat.
It would
I
be
don't like
poetic.
Mahomes. I hate Kelsey. I'm not a Swiftie, and this Taylor Swift nonsense in the NFL really annoys me.
Although they've toned it down
But
this season. I'll give them credit. They've
they
toned it down this
have, they
season.
have. It's true. Um,
I'll give credit.
at the end of the day, I just hate the Eagles and Philly fans and Nick Sirianni way more than I hate the Chiefs. And I cannot bear to see them live
Succeed.
out a Super Bowl victory.
Nope.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. Because football's supposed to be a game of we can be competitive, but we're all fans watching a team, watching a sport. But when you have guys like Hog Farmer Chris, shout out to the Hog Farmers, saying he was verbally assaulted, verbally threatened, physically threatened, had stuff thrown at him. When at the Packers Eagles game, you had an Eagles fan make fun of a Packers fan lady, and her husband, I believe, or boyfriend, went to go stood up for her, and the guy called her a dumb, ugly C word. Granted, the Eagles then gave her, hey, we apologize. We're going to send you Packers here. Like, they had to make up for it. Because there's a stereotype that Eagles fans are the worst fans in the
John, it's not a
NFL.
stereotype. They
It's
are
a
the worst
fact.
fans in the NFL.
Yeah. What
Period.
period. What is Paul Heyman? I'm a wrestling fan. All my wrestling fans. What does Paul Heyman always say? That's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. And LA Knight, you say that's a fact of life. Yeah. Worst fans. I think they're just as bad as Celtics fans, if not worse.
Worse? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go worse than Celtics fans. Because
Oh, they
at least
cannot
the
win.
Celtics, it's the it's the absolute worst. Back to what I was saying before I had gotten myself sidetracked. Um, Bobby, Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio, Wagner has been selected for his 10th Pro Bowl. He will be
Double
replacing Zach,
digits.
double digits. He will be replacing Zach Bond because Wagner was the alternative, although I think he should have gotten it. But Bond was playing out of his mind. Um,
Yeah.
he will replace Bond since Bond's going to the Super Bowl, obviously. But Terry will be there. Jayden will be there. Bobby will be there. Um, it's gonna be fun. Honestly, I think these Pro Bowl games should be better than last year, and we've got some absolute dogs going. Um, but this off season, I'm gonna run down the namers, and we'll do a separate episode post Super Bowl of everything. We've got a lot of the guys leaving in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
A lot on offense alone. Mariota, Osborne, Zacchaeus, Crowder, Diami, Noah, Kaz Allen, Ertz, Bates, McNichols, Rodriguez, Cornelius Lucas, Michael Dieter, Trent Scott, and Hagi Chisholm Nadabusi. Nadabusi. My apologies.
Your guess
But
is as good as mine.
so that is the legit starting offense.
Yep.
On defense, Wagner, Belor, Walker, Chin, Forrest, Davis, Iganagabi, BSJ, Farrell, Fowler, Day, Holmes, and Tressway.
Yep.
Uh,
There we go.
we have got about $90 million to use up. We better go re-sign a third of those guys.
Yeah, $90 million is the third most cap space in the league right now.
Yep,
I would say at least a third, maybe up to a half, you consider bringing back.
considering.
There's a few, I would argue, necessities,
Yep.
whether on short-term deals or if you want to re-sign some for longer terms. Do you want to give some of the people that you think we need to bring back?
Yeah, I can do that real quick. Marcus Mariota
Yep,
as a
agreed.
mentor and backup to Jayden because he won us 2 games.
Yep.
I'd bring back Zacchaeus and Noah, or Zacchaeus and Diami. I think Diami
Yep.
took a really big step up, and he'll only
Hmm.
get better. I'd bring back Ertz because he said he's not going to retire and he kind of wants to come back.
Yep. He'll
I'd
be
bring
back.
I'd bring back Chris Rodriguez. He gives you a little speed to the power
Mm,
because B-Rob might not make it. He'll be 50-50 coming into camp. Um, I'd probably bring back Lucas or Trent Scott just to have the depth. And then on defense,
Lucas.
Cornelius,
I'd agree with Lucas. I'm not
yeah,
100% sold on Scott, but
fair enough. And on defense, B-Wags, 100%.
mhm. Yep.
Jeremy Chin, just for the big
Yep.
hits alone. Iganagabi,
Yep.
third best corner on this team.
Yep.
Fowler, 10.5 sacks on the
Mhm.
year, absolutely.
Yep.
I'd bring back Sheldon Day, one of our better D tackles when Allen and Payne were both out, and Newton's been
Hmm.
developing.
Hmm.
Um, and then obviously Tressway.
Yeah. Tressway's a given.
Yep.
Um, I yeah. Some people that I think we probably should not bring back. Um, I'd be okay letting Farrell walk. What do you think
Okay.
about that?
If there's better if we get like a Matt Judon or we get someone in the draft, I would say
Someone in the
yes.
draft. Hmm.
But I think even if you draft your edges and you still have Javante Jean Baptiste developing and he's played
Hmm.
well for his snaps,
Hmm.
um, I'd bring him back just because he knows the playbook, he knows the
Hmm.
schemes, and he wasn't our worst DN on the team either. I
He
think
was
just for
an
depth,
adequate rotational guy.
he was, and I think
Yeah.
that's okay to have. I think Fowler is your one, and you can have two or
Oh,
three
easily.
guys as your rotation. So I think Farrell for what he was, it's not a bad rotation piece to have. If you can get him on a 2-year 10 mil, I'm good with it.
I'm I'm okay with that,
Yeah.
but he's not a priority for
No,
me.
no, no, no.
And it better be for cheap. St. Juiced, get out of here. I think we're on the same page about that, right?
Yep,
Um,
I'm digging his grave right now.
I honestly think Rodriguez isn't a huge necessity. I feel like we could draft a running back. I would love one of the top four guys. Genty, who we're not going to get. Uh, Cam Scabado, however you say his
Scadaboo,
last name. Um, there's Sampson, volunteers.
Dylan Sampson,
UNC guy, Hampton.
Omarion Hampton.
So I feel like one of those four,
Hmm.
if we could get one of those, B Rob and Rodriguez, they're in a tight spot.
Yeah. And even if you don't get those four, your Devin Neals out of Kansas, your Trevion
Hmm.
Henderson and your Quinshaw Junkins out of Ohio State, your Jordan James out of Oregon. Like it's a really good running back class this year.
It is, yeah.
And I'm still
But
forgetting a Caleb Johnson out of Iowa, Tutton out of VTech. Like I'm still forgetting a couple guys. And I just listed off what, 10?
yeah, it's a deep class.
It's very deep.
So I don't see a huge necessity in re-signing running
No.
backs when we could get a decent one in the draft.
Yeah. I'd still bring back one of them just so you have the depth and they can say, hey, this is how this is going to run. Like having familiarity at a position isn't a bad thing. That's why the
Hmm.
Chiefs have had Noah Gray for 7 years, even though I think he's a 5-year vet because he just
Hmm.
knows the rotation and everything. Um, so
Is McNichols up to be re-signed, or has he still got some on
it's
his
it's
contract?
it's it's McNichols and Rodriguez that are both free agents.
So I don't think you need to bring them both back.
Okay.
I think I could understand bringing one of them back,
Mhm.
but we don't need four mediocre running backs.
True. That,
It's
that is
not,
true.
it's not, it's not a strong room of ours.
No, we need to have a home run hitter. As
Mhm.
I don't want to say it's everyone using it, but I've heard it enough to where it just makes sense. Um, you had brought up Scattaboo in our group chat, and I retweeted it on Twitter.
Mhm.
Is Fandu posted an image of the Commanders' potential offense coming into the next season? It's Jayden
Oh, I saw
Daniels,
this. Yeah.
B. Rob, Scattaboo at the 2, Terry,
Please.
T. Higgins, and
Please.
Harold Fannin Jr. at tight end. Now,
And
I
Hurts.
and Hurts, but we also have Sinnen. So I don't know if we would go Fannin because based on his height and the way Bowling Green was using him, he was a glorified physical receiver at only 6'4". You want your tight ends just a slightly higher.
Okay.
Um, but honestly, if we had drafted Fannin and say, hey, you're just gonna play the way you did at Bowling Green and be our tall physical wide receiver, I would be
Throw him at
busting.
wide out a couple times.
Some people, including myself, included, might bust their bridges watching watching the games. Um, I think Scattaboo is gonna be gone by the time we get to 60, which is our
Oh,
59 or
easily.
60. But
Easily.
again, if you can get a Caleb Johnson, a Henderson, a Judkins, I think you've got your home run hitter.
Scadaboo should be gone by the early second
Early
round.
second round.
He's either the second or third best running back in the class. It's him and Hampton, right?
Ooh.
Gentie's locked up
G-
the
G-
one.
Genty's one. I'd
Yeah.
probably throw Scattaboo at 2 and
Hmm.
Hampton at the 3 just because his playoff uh performance against Texas was insane.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
nothing against UNC and Hampton. He had hell of a season and I
Oh,
want
yeah.
him to succeed. I just think Scattaboo's the kid just doesn't go down.
Yeah. Both of them feel like they're sort of neck and neck for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, maybe both of them, go late first round. Could you see that?
Hmm. The last 4 picks are us, Philly, KC, and Buffalo. So
I'm not sure they'll be
unless
there at our 46.
we don't even
I think
we
it's
don't even,
possible,
we don't even
but
our second round pick is picks like 60. So they'll be gone. If
oh,
one
you're
of the
right.
last 6 teams don't take him, which is like Detroit and none of the last 6 teams need a running back, really. But Baltimore could use depth besides Henry and Hill, but I don't see it. So at
We're
the
not getting
second,
one of those three at 60.
no, and I don't see it. I
Mm-mm.
don't see us trading
No
up for one
chance.
either because of how deep this class is.
Probably not.
Probably not. But again,
Yeah.
with how deep this class is, you can get
It
a
gives us
late
more
day two.
opportunities. Mhm.
Yeah, gives us a late day two, and if you get Quinshot Jungins at 60, that's phenomenal value, really. Because if it
Mhm.
wasn't for the first 3 guys, Quinshot could be running back 1.
Yeah.
So there's that. Um, we talked about this last episode, and we said Jayden Daniels is the greatest rookie quarterback of all time.
Hmm.
He joins the list of no starting rookie quarterback has ever won a conference title game in history. Sean King of the Bucks in 99 against the Rams, Big Ben in 04 against New England, Flacco 08 against the Steelers, butt fumble Mark Sanchez in 09 against the Colts, Brock Purdy in 2022 against Philly, but I don't count that as much as people want to. And obviously Jayden Daniels against Philly. I only say I don't count against Brock because they injured 2 quarterbacks in the same game. Like he couldn't throw. Brock
Yeah,
couldn't throw.
it was messy.
It was messy. So I won't give him too much flack. Um, but Jayden Daniels coming out of this game, and these are total yards, guys, including postseason. 4,300 passing yards, over 1,000 rushing yards, 37 total touchdowns, 12-5 record, a wild card win, a divisional round win, an NFC Championship appearance, and I believe only 11 interceptions.
Hmm.
No, 10 interceptions because he didn't throw one
He had
against
9
Tampa.
before.
Yeah, 9, so 10. So 37 total touchdowns, only 10 total interceptions. What did I say coming into the season? Get him to 35, about 25 and 10, and he'll get us to 8 or 9 wins. Totally. He got to 43, 37 and 10.
Far exceeded any of our expectations.
Far exceeded. Um, but with that being said, we have to keep the consistency. We have to keep the aggression. This is the new commander standard. Next year we've got to,
Mhm.
I don't want to say eclipse 12-5, but we've got to have a good winning record. Maybe we win the division, make another wild card. This is the commander standard now.
It'll be a fight for the division between us and Philly.
Yep,
We have a tough schedule. We have a lot of really good
we do.
teams that we're going up against, but I fully expect us to be able to meet 12-5 again.
Yep. I
Yeah.
retool this defense, give us some pieces on offense. You're not going to lose either coordinator. Cliff's not going anywhere. Joe's not going
Hopefully not
anywhere.
Cliff.
I
Cliff's
don't think
taking
Cliff.
interviews.
He's taking interviews, but I don't think the only people that are left open are the Saints. That's all that's left. And even then, I think
We'll
they're going to
see.
go after Mike Kafka, the Giants OC.
I feel like they would prefer Cliff, but Cliff also might prefer to stay as an OC. He's still getting paid
He's still going to
great
go Arizona.
money, and he's in a good situation.
He is. And I don't see him wanting to leave Jayden anytime soon.
No, I,
So
I don't believe so.
we trust in Adam Peters. We trust in Dan Quinn. We trust in Jayden Daniels. This logo, that burgundy and gold, that black jersey now means something in this league, but let's make sure we make it worthwhile.
Mhm.
That's all I can ask. Is because we're gonna go into this offseason. After the Super Bowl, we're probably gonna do our reactions to the Super Bowl and get ready for the offseason. We're gonna take our own little bye week because I gotta do some rebranding. All this is gonna change. All what you see around you is gonna change, logo included. I've got that. I've finished up details, and then
It's
we're gonna
looking
come back.
nice.
We're gonna looking forward to the draft. We're gonna look into free agency. We're gonna collab with some creators. I'm gonna reach out to a few draft prospects because there are some guys I really want to talk to. Because there's a lot of good names coming out of the Senior Bowl, or out of the
Mhm.
East West Shrine Bowl, and Josh Taylor's heading down to Mobile for the Senior Bowl. It's gonna be some guys you're gonna want to keep your eyes on.
Mhm.
And if you want to figure out who those guys are, well, that being said, guys, like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube for more content, and hit that post notification bell every time that we upload. Get us to 500 subscribers. We are 50 away, and share it with all your friends. Instagram and TikTok at Ballin In Burgundy Podcast, Twitter at BIB Podcast 22 for all college football updates. Twitter and yeah, Instagram, Twitter, for all of our little memes. Because I'm gonna post I did it last season where we did the season in memes, and you see that all on our social media. And not gonna want to miss it. I got some new things. It's gonna be a little longer video since we made the NFC Championship game, but The Super Bowl is right around the corner. Eagles, Chiefs. We're rooting for the three-peat here at BIB. We want the three-peat. But 12-5, NFC Championship title appearance. Never in my wildest dreams did I think we'd be here talking about it.
Me neither.
Did it go our way? Absolutely not. Are we excited for what this team holds? Absolutely.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
I mean, it's a disappointing way to end the season. We all wanted to win that one and get to the big game, but at the end of the day, I'm super grateful for this season, this team, the new ownership, new coaches, new players, especially Jayden. I mean, this season has been everything we hoped for and more. So, as much as I wanted to win that game, I'm happy and I'm looking forward to the future. It's bright and it's a good time to be a Washington fan.
Yeah. Let's enjoy this final Misery Monday, Terrible Tuesday, whatever you want to call it, guys. But let's enjoy what the future is going to hold for the Commanders. Let's see what Jayden does in this offseason. Let's see what Terry does in this offense and this defense does. Because we haven't felt success like this in a very long time. So we can be sorry for ourselves and upset for the team, but the story had to end sometime, and the story ended in the NFC Championship game. The next chapter of the Commanders starts February 10th. But until then, guys, like, share, and subscribe. Let's raise hell during this offseason. And don't forget, guys, to stay ballin', and we'll see y'all